Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Merciful and Most Compassionate. I am Dr. Abu Haque, practicing medicine, internal medicine in United States for more than 20 years and in Long Island over last 17 years, New York. Today, inshallah, I am going to talk about our holy month of Ramadan, how one can do fasting and improve one's spiritual and emotional and also physical health. I'm going to divide this talk in two parts. The first part I will focus on performing fasting in this holy month for a healthy adult person, and then I'll try to focus some of the diseases that one may do fasting and manage their diseases. So first part is performing fasting by healthy individual. As I mentioned, fast Ramadan can improve one's personal health, but if you don't eat and drink properly, it may cause harm as well. So keep in mind, overeating not only harm the body, but it is also may interfere person's spiritual growth and during this month. A diet that has less than normal amount of food but is sufficiently balanced will keep a person healthy and active during the month of Ramadan. The diet should be simple and not different too much from one's normal everyday diet. Diet should contain foods from all major food groups and nutrients. For example, average healthy person should take his carbohydrate almost 40% of the food, that rice, preferably brown rice, bread, other cereals, potatoes. 35% could be fruits and vegetable. No canned fruits or vegetable, make sure it's fresh. And 10 to 12% is the fish, meat. Try to eat lean white meat. Fish is better, healthier. 10% milk and dairy foods. And foods not more than 5% containing fat and sugar. Ramadan, as we know, we are fasting, especially this summertime, long hour. Sometime it could be 15 hours, 16 hours. So we have to choose a food that release energy slowly, not the fast energy releasing food, like complex carbohydrate that release energy slowly and will keep you energy throughout the day. Complex carbohydrate, we mean that grains, seeds like wheat, beans, lentils, wholemeal flour, basmati rice, preferably brown rice, and also fiber-rich foods also digested slowly and release the energy slowly to keep you going throughout the day. Any fruits, any vegetables, whole wheat, grains, seeds, potato with the skin, vegetables, green beans, almost any fruits, including apricots, prunes, figs, etc. As I mentioned, foods we have to avoid that heavily processed, that burn fast, release energy fast, raises sugar quickly, and you don't have any energy after a few hours. Such foods are like any refined carbohydrate, right? White flour, white rice, also that food, fatty food like cakes, biscuits, chocolates, sweets such as Indian, all mithais, These foods are quick burning, raises sugar quickly, and you don't have any energy after 4 or 5 hours. Another important issue is make sure you hydrate yourself well, and hydration is the water, water, water. Drink plenty of water starting from the iftar to sahri, and remember there are some drinks, it looks like water, but it does not make you hydrated, rather it makes dehydration. Any drinks containing caffeine should be avoided, and you can find caffeine in a lot of sodas like Coke, cola, also tea, coffee. Try to avoid it because it is diuretic, it causes loss of fluid from your body. Now foods to avoid, and I'm going to say some foods to avoid and what other alternate you can do, like deep fried foods like pakoras, samosas, and fried dumplings. So alternate to do, you can do whole grains like chickpeas, plain or with potato, in yogurt, in different Indian spices is okay. Samosas, if you like, it should be baked instead of fried, and also boiling dumplings. Next group of food to avoid, high sugar, high fat, like Indian sweets, gulab jam, rasgulla, rasmalai, bakwala, all these high sweet, high sugar containing food should be avoided. If you like sweet, if you don't have diabetes, you can prefer the sweet milk-based sweets like puddings, barfi, certain kind of soft rasmalais is an alternate choice if you like the sweets. Next group of food to avoid, high fat cooked foods like parathas, oily curries, greasy pastries. Alternate what you can do, chapatis on naan, not in oil fried, and baked or grilled meat, especially white meat like chicken, turkey. If you like pasty, try to make at home. Use a single layer, don't make it multi-layer because that takes a lot of feed inside in each layer. Now to come to the how you can cook, cooking methods to avoid. Avoid deep frying. You can do shallow frying. Usually there is a very little difference in taste. You can buy shallow fryer now, uses no oil or very minimum oil. Frying also any sort, try to avoid. Try to do grilled or baking food which is healthier. It also tasty and keeps original flavor of the food, especially chicken and fish. Avoid curries with excessive oil. Start measuring the oil used in a curry and try to bring the oil content down gradually. Like reducing 5 tablespoons to 4. This is a good way of reducing oil without noticing much difference in the taste. A useful tip is to use more onions and tomatoes in the bulk of the curry, which absorbs and take away the oil and the fats from the food. And again, all healthy adults are supposed to fast, obligatory, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Please do fasting. Try to follow the diet and instructions I mentioned in simply short way, and stay healthy. May Allah bless you and accept all your fasting and all your prayers. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm back again. Previous in the part 1 on health and Ramadan, I have discussed and given some tips for healthy eating during the fasting month of Ramadan, and do the fasting, get the spiritual, emotional and physical well-being by performing this fasting in the holy month of Ramadan. For healthy people, I have discussed, I have given some tips how to eat properly, how to drink properly, what to avoid to get the most benefit during the month of Ramadan. Now I am focusing to discuss how people with some sickness and illness can perform their further. First of all, the Ramadan is excused people with significant illness, sickness, the fasting which can jeopardize their life and health. The Almighty Allah, His mind is big, huge, compassionate. He knows our iman, He knows our mind, He sees what we are doing every day. So, if our niyyah is right, and if we can perform the fasting due to illness, sickness, is definitely excused. And there are some alternate ways of doing some alternate activities, feeding poor, giving, charity, who cannot fast. And I'm not an expert on that. You can talk to your imam or some mufti and get the direction from them. As the technology has advanced, more and more people getting to healthcare, knowing their disease or sickness early age because of the diagnostic improvement and treatment. Old days, like our grandparents, their families lived 80, 90, 100 years. Did not even know they may had blood pressure, they may had some diabetes, still they did fasting until the end of the day, maybe they died. However, with the diagnosis and proper treatment, younger people, we are seeing they having diabetes, blood pressure, even heart diseases, other diseases. They will discuss with their doctor first, make sure they do the fasting and their health does not get to jeopardy and life in jeopardy. Once it is possible and cleared by your doctor, go ahead and do the fasting to get the spiritual benefit this holy month of Ramadan. So coming to few diseases, very common, how we can do the fasting and still maintain our good health and the control of diseases. Blood pressure, I think most common problem we see today. We can do the fasting, keep our blood pressure control, take our medication regularly. Few tips like make sure hydrate yourself well, like water. I'm not talking any caffeinated drink or tea or soda or coffee. That makes more dehydration, as I mentioned before as well, because these are diuretics. Reduce your salt consumption. Try to eat less salty food. Good quality of healthy, balanced food. Avoid fatty, greasy, fried food. And physical activity as usual. Try to do some walking after the iftar. Bottom line, avoid any food has high fat content, fried food, stuff like that. Now, important part of the blood pressure management, obviously first is weight loss, diet, exercise. If it does not control your blood pressure, you have to take a medication. Taking medication during Ramadan, I think with the present advanced medication, it should not have any problem. Old days, one had to take the medication 3 times a day, even 4 times a day. Now most of the blood pressure are controlled once a day medication, or in worst scenario twice a day. Very rarely people needs 3 or 4 times a day to control their blood pressure. So if it is once a day medication, you take with sahari or iftar, wherever you used to take at night or in the evening, and if it is twice a day, take in the morning with sahar and with the iftar, and do your fasting. If you are taking some medication old-fashioned way, 3 times a day or 4 times a day, consult your doctor I'm pretty sure the doctors will be able to convert your medication once a day or twice a day. It's most of the medication, short-acting, now available in long-acting form, and you can take it once or twice a day, control your blood pressure, and perform the obligatory fasting. Again, overall, these are tips, suggestions. Keep in touch with your doctor very closely. If you are worried, make a little more frequent visit to your doctor. Keep your pressure, monitor your blood pressure at home. Now you have digital machines. It's very easy to, it's not expensive, easy to check your blood pressure, keep a record, consult your doctor. And when you go to the visit, take it to your doctor. He can go through your blood pressure monitor at home and adjust a medication as is necessary. Again, may Allah bless you with blood pressure. Hopefully you will be able to do your fasting and perform your obligatory duties for the religion of Islam. Next, I'm going to talk about the diabetes, which is, I think, very common, and a lot of people are diabetic again due to advanced diagnosis, more frequent doctor visit, availability of the medical care than old days. Definitely diabetes, some states, countries, they said, like UK, charity, they say if you have diabetes, don't do fasting. Personally, I don't agree. I myself is diabetic. I take 2 different kind of medication, and I'm doing, alhamdulillah, fasting without any bad effect, and I feel great. Rather, I feel my diabetes numbers has improved and better controlled during the fasting of month of Ramadan. You know, there are 2 kinds of diabetes, 2 types, type 1. Type 1 people should not do fasting, that's for sure, because they don't have any insulin in the body, and they may have admitted in the past in hospital with diabetic ketoacidosis, intensive care. Type 1 people, my opinion, I feel should not do fasting. Definitely, as I mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us better. That type 1 person will be excused from this obligatory fasting. Type 1, as I mentioned, they need insulin. They need to monitor their sugar 2, 3, even 4 times a day. They need to eat small food, meal 3, 4 times a day, and they cannot break this routine to keep their diabetes control and keep healthy and avoid going to be admitted in hospital, even in intensive care unit. So I feel that type 1 people should not do fasting. Type 2 diabetics is common, very common. We do see young people, not eating healthy, getting overweight, not doing exercise, having metabolic syndrome. My feeling, they can manage their diabetes well and do the fasting. As I mentioned, I'm diabetic for about 10 years, and I'm fasting, alhamdulillah, every year, and I feel good and no problem. So again, maintain your diabetic diet as has been advised to your doctor, or is very simple, avoid that, Now you can buy sweets now sugar-free, like made of Splenda, sort of okay, but if any kind of sweet made of stevia, the calorie-free natural sweetener, that's perfectly all right. If you like some sweet, try to make some sweet at home with the Splenda. It's available, it's not expensive, it's easy to make. Besides maintaining your diet, eating during Ramadan, you have to eat twice a day, obviously Sahari and Iftar. Medication, yes. Most of the diabetic medications also are now once or twice a day. Some of the medications are long-acting, that controls your sugar almost 48 hours a day. So try to eat long-acting medications. If it is 24-hour medications like glyburide, or there are glucotrol XL or Januvia, this kind of 24-hour medication. Try to eat during iftar, and you have food in your system, you have calories, sugar in your system, and you eat sahar. Hopefully by the noon time, the action of this medication will be less. You will not suffer from hypoglycemia, and your diabetes will be good control. Again, diabetes is a sensitive issue. Sugar may fall down. You should know the symptoms of high sugar, low sugar, like if you feel lightheaded, dizzy, sweating, the sugar is falling, you can break the fast, eat or drink something and consult your doctor. As I mentioned above, Allah is great. He knows our niyyah, He knows our mind perfectly well. If you are sick, you are excused. Again, alternate to fasting, consult your mufti or imam and follow the guidance so that you stay in the path of Allah and you follow our religious obligations. Next, I'm going to talk about some other diseases, a little bit in common diseases that can be managed well, and you can do fasting. One of the very common disease is peptic ulcers, gastritis, duodenitis. If you have any history of gastric bleeding or bad ulcer, obviously consult your doctor. You can avoid fasting. But if it is controlled, you can still do the fasting and you can take your medications. And most of the ulcer medication now once a day, it controls the 24-hour. You can take one of the gastric reflux ulcer, stomach ulcer medication once a day is commonly known as proton pump inhibitor. It's once a day. You can take half an hour before sahar. Half an hour before sahar, and continue fasting. If you still have symptoms, you can take another H2 blocker like is known as like Pepsid, Zantac, those kind of medication you can take during your iftar that should continue your acid during the night time. So with peptic ulcer disease, if it is controlled, I think it should be okay to do the fasting with the regimen I have discussed. Now, common is the heart diseases. Heart diseases are classified as New York Heart Association class 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously 3 and 4, their activity are limited. I think they cannot do fasting, they should not do fasting. If it is class 1 or 2, consult your doctor. If you maintain your heart failure well, and if you had a coronary artery disease, you don't have any chest pain, shortness of breath, I think you'll be okay to do the fasting, but consult your doctor first, take your medication. As I mentioned with the modern treatment, most of the medications are now once a day. And if you are allowed by your physician, you feel comfortable, you can do the fasting, but keep close monitoring with your doctor. And I have tried to discuss most common diseases and issues in this section with fasting and how to perform the fasting. Is obligatory, is mandatory, is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. We try our best to do the fasting and improve our physical, spiritual, mental health, and Almighty Allah accepts our all prayers, our fasting, and give us the reward He has promised to all the prophets and to us. Jazakallah khairan.
ITV, Call of Peace, Save Humanity.